what if just from this simple process that we'll share with you today, you could go out there and get yourself at least 1 to 2 clients, not only this week, but in many ways have a new mini system where predictably you could be generating 1 to 2 new clients every week moving forward, like how that would impact you. And again, in a cool way, in a non-salesy way, without tacky, hypey, overzealous affiliate type things, just organic, feel good, simple approaches to be able to move people forward in your process. Four-step process to triple your referrals. It's really how to get 10x your clients' referrals. So at the end of the day, you ladies can have a bigger impact and make a bigger contribution. Ideally, in your case, Anna, with what you're looking to do with your book, is to be able to, contribute more to that great cause, right? Which is important to you, right? So along with that, this approach we're going to talk about created over $1.2 million in revenue in about 36 months without a penny paid in commissions or tacky affiliate programs or things like that sometimes people have a tendency to lean on. Oh, that's how I'm going to get referrals. Okay. So this process works both short and long term. That's if you do it right. And of course, there's a lot of ways to do it wrong, but there's a couple ways to do it right. So I want you to imagine for a second, like what if just from this simple process that we'll share with you today, this week, you could go out there and get yourself at least 1 to 2 clients, not only this week, but in many ways have a new mini system where predictably you could be generating 1 to 2 new clients every week moving forward, like how that would impact you. And again, in a cool way, in a non-salesy way, without tacky, hypey, overzealous affiliate type things, right? Just organic, feel good, simple approaches to be able to move people forward in your process, right? And then have people move, be excited to want to introduce you to them. Right. And in fact, what if you had a person of influence that was your advocate and became a raving fan for you, right? You can actually structure this strategically done right. And that's when it starts to get fun. Like when you have other people helping support you that maybe you never thought possible, right? So who is this for? This is for people who might be at a place where they consider their marketing strategies are working like this, where they're hearing crickets, or your referrals aren't coming in as predictably as you like, or it's 1 in a million, or it feels like it's happening every year, 1 a year instead of 1 every couple of weeks, right? So we want to move you away from crickets to be able to be in a place where you have clarity, right? So this is also for you if you don't know what to create for a referral program in your business. It's also for you if you're at a place where you already have a successful system set up. Maybe you have an affiliate program. Maybe you have a referral program, something like that, right? In addition, the thing to realize is that the big problem with this is kind of a hidden problem with referral programs, affiliate programs, things like that. And the reason is a lot of times people take this approach, like a lot of things in automating your business or scaling your business, is we figure it must be or should be or it needs to be a one size fits all, right? And it isn't, and it doesn't have to be. And we'll talk about that a little bit too, right? So along with that, we want to help you avoid the traps that most people fall into with their campaigns. So you're going to walk away with a 4-step approach to be able to triple your referrals, maybe even more, just depending on you, okay? We believe this isn't just an idea that's worth $250,000 to you in the next few months, but over time done right, this could be worth far more, right? 3, 5, 10 times that if you apply it. That's the key, applying it. So why does it work? It works because of these 5 C's. What it does for your clients is it's going to give them these 5 C's: confidence, it's going to give them clarity, it's going to give them certainty, it's going to give them comfort, which is really critical at a base level. And it's also going to compel them to want to work with you versus the other C, which is convincing them, right? And by the way, if you get these 5 C's right in your traditional everyday marketing, it also is the reason people will move forward with you too, right? So this just kind of ties in with everything we've been talking about since our beginning, right? So elephant in the room, we want to help you avoid some of the mistakes. I want to share some distinctions with you. I don't know. Do you guys know who that is? Who's that? Besides me. the guy to my left. Anybody know?
That's Jay Abraham.
Jay Abraham, exactly. So Jay's become a friend. You know, I think you may know I've invested a lot of money in training, consulting, all kinds of stuff. And then, you know, Jay was an early mentor. Now I speak on stages with Jay. I've had people go, wow, I got more value from you than what Jay has shared. But nonetheless, I invested in a package with him some time ago on a referral model, which, you know, I think he calls it the 94 referral strategies. And, you know, there's a whole lot more. So what we're going to cover today is like a tip of the iceberg, that there's all kinds of additional distinctions you can make from this. That literally he coined a program called 94 referral strategies moons ago, right? We're going to cover 4 steps to start the process. And as you get a base set, you know, then we can start going into more and more and more distinctions, right? But we want to give you some distinctions here. So let's dive into it. First one, and you might want to write this down. And it's maybe not what you would expect, but it's showing up probably like you do with your clients when they engage with you or when you're trying to get them to work with you, right? But I want to encourage you, if you don't have this DNA already, I think all of you probably do, or you wouldn't be here. And that's having a DNA, right? Which is being valuable, like trying to be valuable in advance without really having an expectation. There's a great book called Give and Take by Adam Grant. And, you know, in this book, there's all kinds of cool framings. Have any of you guys read the book Give and Take with Adam Grant? No, it's a great book to either audible or read or both. Short version of a few key insights from the book. In there, he says there's 3 types of people. There's givers, there's matchers, and there's takers, right? And if you were to guess, who are the most successful people in the world in one of those 3 categories? Would you think it would be the takers, the givers, or the matchers? What would you say? What would you ladies say?
The takers.
The takers?
I'd say it's the givers.
The givers?
I'm gonna go with matchers.
Matchers.
Which one is it? Wait, is matchers like you match people together? Like
you match from a perspective tit for tat, like this.
Okay,
I'll do this
I was thinking
for you.
like super connector. No,
kind of keeping score. Yep.
Ooh, that's a tough
I'm
one.
going with givers because you're a giver, Dan.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I mean, I can't sit here. If you tell me something else, I'm going to be disappointed.
So it is the givers. Yep. So in his research, the way he's framed it, right? And of course, all these framings are subject to the way they're framed. But so in his framing, the givers are the ones who achieve the most. Who are the ones who you think between the 3, matchers, takers, givers, get abused, get hurt, maybe get manipulated the most?
Givers.
Ladies? So I've got givers.
Yeah, givers. Oh.
Givers.
I'm going to think it's the matchers because I think they have expectations.
Got it. So according to his research, it's also the givers, right? And so the key here is, you know, a distinction that's really important with this step 1, be valuable in advance, is be valuable in advance with the right people, right? My early years, damaging confession. I gave and 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 gave, and I gave to the wrong people. I gave to people who couldn't afford my stuff, who really weren't interested in my stuff, who had no real desire to use it, apply it, none of it, right? And it hurt when I saw people who I gave so much to, or I felt like and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but like I remember a couple of clients in my early years where literally I poured my heart and my soul into these folks to like help them. And I mean, not only did they not do anything with it, and then I continued to push to try to get them to do stuff, then they blamed me when it didn't work, even though I didn't charge them for stuff.
So Dan, can I ask you something?
Yes.
Were you trying to be all things to all people at that time and didn't
In my early
put your
days.
message down?
Yep.
So it was a messaging problem and it was a confidence problem on your end. Like you didn't believe maybe that if you didn't do all this stuff for people, you weren't going to be getting what you wanted or what you were looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's parts of that. I think if I had to like really tune it in, it would have been a guilt problem. Like I felt guilty that I was going to charge money, right? And so I had to rid myself of this essentially a limiting belief. And it's such a great question because I felt guilty like that I was going to be charging somebody for what I was doing for them. And I thought intuitively, okay, well, I'll help them and then they can pay me out of what they make.
Well, I'll tell you what, we happily pay you each month. So I'm glad you
Yes.
don't feel guilty anymore.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I had to outgrow that limiting belief. Right. But that was an early phase, early stage environment and early stage learning lesson. And it hurt. Like it really hurt me, not only from the perspective of all the time being put into these, of the specific clients I'm thinking of right now. But in addition, what did it cost me in time I'll never get back? Because you can always make money back, but time you can never get back. And then the emotional damage of like me carrying that guilt and weight for them, right? And so that's where building detachment is really critical to the outcome. It's also building detachment to the fact that some people are going to apply it, some people aren't, right? All you can do is, it's like a gold brick. You throw out a gold brick for whatever reason. Some people, you throw out a gold brick and it's going to sail right over their head. And when it does, sometimes they'll even blame you that you even threw it out there in the first place. Who knew? The second type, you throw the gold brick out and they kind of fumble around with it. Like we've got one of our private clients right now we're working with. It's been so slow working with them to try to get certain things in place. Like for some of you, you've gotten in place in a couple months, although you might feel it's a little bit slow. But comparatively, for them, it's like taking almost a full year to get the basics, right? So it's, again, everybody kind of has their speed, so to speak, on what we're doing. And then the third type of person, maybe more like all of you, where you throw out the gold brick and they catch it and they recognize and go, oh, thank you, this is amazing. And not only do they use it wisely, but then they're wanting to share it and make an impact with others. So yeah.
Didn't that make you a better teacher to us going through that experience?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So in a way, it was valuable to make those or have those lessons.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Makes you a better teacher, more patience, a whole lot of things. Yep. So great question. I'm glad you asked that. So step one is look to be valuable in advance, asterisk, ideally getting clarity on who the right people are that you want to be valuable to, right? A great way to do this. Here's a great, simple way to do this, by the way. A podcast can be a great thing. Just calling up on somebody and interviewing them can be a great way. I believe next week, there'll be a new episode of my show released with an expert. He owns a VC company, VC firm out of California, Randall Kaplan. And, his company's done billions and billions of dollars. And he talked about something called, and in fact, the title of that episode is called 300 Letters. And it was an approach he took by being valuable in advance, how he got to sit with the founder of Sun America, who never gives interviews, who sat with him for an hour because of his approach, his diligence, being valuable in advance. And then he ended up being the CEO's assistant for 4 years, which he said was probably one of the most valuable personal experiences he had in business, working right next to that person for 4 years. And oh, by the way, he said his initial 1 hour or so, hour and a half meeting that he had, which came from this 300 letter focus, he said was the longest meeting he had ever had, including in the 4 years he worked with that person. All right. So it's a fascinating example of look to be valuable in advance, asterisk, also be choosy who you decide to be valuable in advance with, right? And then also you got to have some grace about it, right? Have some grace. Like I'll give an example. I try to have grace. Like I think you ladies know, I coach this high school freshman football team, and I've got kids who are like superior athletes, and I've got kids who never even played football before, and everything in between, right? So there's a certain level of grace and patience you've got to have with kids who have zero experience, zero understanding, but they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves and develop themselves as a man, as a leader, as a student athlete, right? In that example, apply the same thing in business. So as you meet people, having grace doesn't mean you have to give all the same amount of time, but having grace, if I were to also that would be my word for it. Have some patience, have some grace, because those people know people who you would never expect that they could know. And if you're just nice to people, Joe Polish has a great quote. He said, be nice to the people on the way up, because there's the same people you meet on the way down, right? And it's just a great way to look at things. Like one of the perceptions I have is I love when I'm actually active in public with people and going out to dinners and stuff. I love to actually watch how people treat servers. I learned more about that person in about 30 seconds of how they treat a server at a restaurant than almost all the interaction I could ever have with them anywhere, because it says a lot. If they're respectful and nice and charming and funny, like, and they treat them with respect, that person with respect, like, I can trust that person. But if they're kind of like shady and sarcastic and demeaning and all that sort of stuff, putting them down or putting the service down or whatever, and that goes a long way in my discernment of like, am I going to spend much time with this person moving forward? I mean, and this goes in all walks of life. This can be dating, this can be business, this can be in athletics, all kinds of places. It's just a really interesting way to look at things. So step one, be valuable. I hope that was valuable for you as well. That just little context. So Anna, thanks for stimulating that. Now, along with that is look at yourself as planting value seeds along the way, right? Now, this shouldn't be anything new. We've covered versions of this. So you plant your value seeds, right? And then ultimately you're planting value trees, or they're growing into trees, right? As you plant these seeds. Some germinate more than others, right? As you go on your seed journey, right? So plant value trees, and then that leads to step two. So step one, be valuable. Step two, ideally make it cool and compelling, make it interesting, make it fascinating, make it more of a dialogue if you can, versus just a one-way conversation, right? Make it cool and compelling. Now, the problem with this is, outside of our community here, like we'll call it the room, outside of this space, the unfortunate part is most people don't view business the way you probably do, or the way I do, right? They look at it very differently. Like in our community here, we look at like, what do we do, right? When someone asks, what do we do, right? You guys understand what you really do, right? And outside of our space, like if you go to a conference and you talk about marketing with a bunch of marketing geeks, like, oh, no, sorry, that might not be the right label for you. I consider myself a marketing geek. I love marketing, love talking about it. I love sales, love talking about growing business, love talking about it, right? Put me in a room with a bunch of accountants, not such a fun experience, right? So we all have our place, right? So if we go to a room where people are talking about growing businesses and impact and making a bigger difference in the world, and using marketing and sales to do that, it's like my home, my place. But outside of that, which is 99% of others, they don't view even the words the same way. So here are a couple things to really keep in place regarding terminology, right? Realize perhaps you're not in just sales. You're really focused on influence, right? So when you speak of sales, instead of speaking, and again, this is the 99.9% outside of our culture, outside of like the place where it's everybody loves sales, everybody loves marketing, everyone loves growing a business, but 99.9% don't. So instead of calling it sales, you might consider calling it influence. Instead of calling it marketing, you might call it storytelling, right? Instead of a referral, even the word referral has negative connotations based on research. So instead of calling it, hey, can you give me a referral, is consider calling it an introduction. Hey, could you make an introduction? Or another version, depending on context of this, and I'm going to go deep in layers here, is could you make a recommendation? People love to make introductions and they love to make recommendations. Or depending on context, another version of this, hey, is there someone you could nominate, right? So instead of referral, consider introduction, recommendation, or nomination, right? Those little distinctions can make a significant difference, right? So like, what if you got these in place? How would it impact you? Could it make the difference between repelling somebody or pushing someone away or even chasing them away, right? I often kid, you ladies have probably heard me refer, don't make sure you're not in the sales prevention department, right? Be in the attraction part, right? What kind of impact would it have with just those subtle shifts in your language? Another version, like lots of people have continuity models, right? Or recurring revenue models. And they talk about, oh, their renewal is coming up. Oh, my clients' renewals are coming up. Internally in our culture, we don't talk about these things in terms of renewals. We talk about them in terms of anniversaries, right? And just think about the difference in how that feels. Ooh, you have a renewal, or I want to celebrate your anniversary. Big difference, right? We can increase just based on one word or shifting the framing of words, language, linguistics to give people a positive feeling versus like, ooh, my renewal's coming. I don't want to pay my renewal, but I want to celebrate your anniversary. Oh yeah, I like when people celebrate my anniversary or birthday, right? Think about that, right? Same thing with.
I am flipping thinking about that, Dan, because that's what we do in our community. And you just made my day. You just earned your beans from us, that one tip. So
Beautiful. Similarly with the word referral, hey, can you bring me a referral? Do you know a referral? Introduction, recommendation, nomination, right? Depending on context. Think about what that would mean for you. Step 3 in this, make it easy for them to make those introductions, recommendations, and nominations. Now there's, again, hundreds of ways to do this, right? I'm going to try to make it so low the goats can eat it, which is a saying my friend Dean has. So a couple ways to think about this. Google did this. They made it so low the goats could eat it. They have 30 million customers, right? And then now it's actually over 1 billion. And they used this approach by invitation only. It was a nomination or a recommendation, right? Or in this case, it was by invitation only. That was their way of saying it, by invitation only. Those were being sold online at one point. In fact, I'll talk about that. So Google launched on April 1st, 2004 with their Gmail, which was by invitation only, okay? And they only allowed 1,000 people to be invited initially. Did you know that? You can go look up the story. I think it's on Wikipedia, right? Then they allowed friends and family beyond that, right? And there were a limited number of invitations, some sold on eBay for pretty significant amounts of money. You know, maybe you'd consider a lot, maybe not, but $150 or more on eBay at a different point. So how would having like an invitation model impact you, right? Think of it like a wedding invitation. What if you could create an elegant invitation or by invitation only model where people got certain assets or certain perks or certain things that maybe the general public wouldn't, just by making that recommendation, that invitation, that recommendation, etc. Right? How cool would that be? And what kind of a cool experience would it create? Right? Another case study, Hotmail grew to 1.5 million users in just 36 months. Right? How did they do it? Very similar approach. In the bottom of every email, when they gave everyone a free account, if you remember back, in the bottom, it said, P.S. I love you, get your free account, right? P.S. I love you, get your free account. Well, how could you apply that? What if in your emails, you put P.S. I love you, get access to our amazing free XYZ community. Go here now, right? Basically, you put them in your Facebook group where there's all kinds of interaction and social proof and buzz and so much more, right? So Hotmail launched July 4th, Independence Day, 1996 by Jack Smith and Sabir Bhatia. Again, you could probably go look this up on Wikipedia or other places, right? And it was P.S. I love you, get your free Hotmail account. And that grew to 30 million users in 36 months. So what could you put in place, right? So not only could you put this in your emails, you could have your team. If you have other team members, you could have virtual assistants. You could have, think about this. What if every email that came in, do you get a fair amount of emails that come in your inbox? Well, what if you put a bounce back message on it that says, hey, thanks for your message. Someone will get back with you within 48 hours or less, right? In the meantime, P.S. we love you. Check out some of our amazing resources and maybe it's your free group that you might want to have them a part of. Or it could be an invitation to opt in for a free checklist. Or it could say, P.S. when you're ready, here are a couple amazing ways we can help you. 1, 2, 3. You've seen versions of this. Hotmail and Gmail were the originators. Other people today have kind of adapted it. A guy named Dean Jackson, in some ways, gets credit for this, but it was actually Google, Gmail, and Hotmail that invented this by invitation-only method, right? So what could you put in place, right? 1 or 2 or 3 ideas that you could get in place, right? Whether it's related to your renewal, anniversary, birthday time, or to using invitation, using recommendation, using introduction, using nomination as a way to have people move forward with you versus the standard, oh, do you know of a referral, right? Now, I also want to show you a traditional way to look at referrals, right? So think of your referral systems as a series of links in a chain, similar to what we've described in a lot of the marketing, right? The referral system can be a simple way to look at that too. So step 4 is kind of where the rubber meets the road. How do you make it real, right? How do you make it real? How do you make it easy or so low that your clients just, it's easy, right? So here are a couple ways to think about. Here's 5 easy things you can put in place starting today, right? Number one is think about what could you give your clients? You might put out a pre-written message to give out by email or even a physical package. So it's pre-written, pre-done. They just cut and paste it. Or it's pre-packaged and you give it to them and say, send this out to your connections. Okay. I did this for one of our clients. His name is Steve Adams. Stephanie has gotten a chance to work with him, and a couple other of our clients have gotten a chance to work with him and gone deeper with some of their health coaching, right? It was a pre-done package. I actually wrote the copy for the whole thing for Steve and his team. And they put together an amazing little package and they sent it out as like a gift. And it is a gift. And I paid for that gift to do it because I love what they do, right? But we took something where, hey, you've got something of value. We could team up together. You're non-competing with me, right? They're in the health business. I'm in business growth. How could we collaborate? We both win, right? So what's a pre-written message you could give out to your potential best advocates, right? Or you could pre-do a video, right? Now, a video could be an online video, or you could put it on something and ship to them. I've done both. We've done both. What could you do? Like, think of the impact. Like, what if here's a way you could do it. What if you got somebody a gift on Amazon, but instead of the traditional way, you actually had it shipped to you, and then you took a card that you hand wrote and say, hi, Anna, congratulations on all the amazing success you have. I recorded a personal video for you. Go to anna.breakthrough3x.com. So it's got what's called a personal URL in it, right? And now when Anna gets this nice gift, there's this personal URL and it says, hey, it's Dan. I just wanted to congratulate you on everything you're doing. And it was a personal video. What would the impact of that be? Think about that, right? Now, you can think about these things like in the beginning, what I would encourage you to do is like, look at your top 10 or top 20 best clients you got, right? Maybe they bought the most, maybe they are engaged the most, maybe they love you the most, maybe they're applying what you do the most, but however you might rank it, right? Think of it in the top 20 for now. Then you can go to other tiers and then go, okay, how could I scale this to all my clients if you have a bunch, right? This again moves away from like traditional hokey pokey. Not that affiliate campaigns can't be successful because they can be immensely, but most people start there instead of this kind of higher value, higher or maybe unique experience model that we're talking about, right? So a video you could give out. Remember, this goes back a couple years. I took the same approach right here that I'm talking about. And I got echoes and I had my team create a walkthrough video of some interesting and fascinating ways to use echoes. And then I put an intro video on the front of the video of them doing the walkthrough. This is before echoes became so, kind of mainstream now, but this is maybe even 10 years ago now that I think about it, as I'm really thinking about it. But we put together like 10 of these personalized packages. And man, it was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, right? But I'll tell you the impact that it has. I still have people who think of me today, and I'm thankful that they do, right? And introduce us to their potential clients that could be a good fit for us and more, right? Those personal experiences can matter. Even doing something like if you have a Vimeo account, you can do this with Loom, by the way. There's all you can even do this with Zoom, right? But Vimeo allows you to record a quick link video, and you can make introduction. Hey, I recorded a video for you. It just creates more of a 360-degree view versus like an email by itself. I try to do most of my introductions now by video, not by handwritten text, because it just adds personalization and context, right? And it does take a little bit more work. And people, I think, subconsciously appreciate it a little bit more. So what could you do, right? And how could you apply it to your top 20 clients or top 50, right? Next, you could also record an audio message, right? If you're around me for a continued amount of time, you will no doubt see me do this. If you haven't seen me do it already, where I get into a conversation, instead of waiting to do something, I'll record an audio and connect people on it, either by email with that audio or by text if I have their phone number. On the spot delivery, right? On the spot value. People appreciate that because it's just easier to type a little text or type a little email or wait, try to do it now, right? What could you do, right? What could you do to liven it up, that create depth? Could you set up a custom page where you could give out exclusive access to a series of tools, right? That's almost like gated, right? It's like a mini example of some of what you might do, the amazing work you do. That if someone makes an introduction, they can just take them to that page and they kind of now get a pulse for you. Some people call this an online wow package, right? An online wow package, right? Where you can give out a series of tools and that works 24/7, right? Another, can you create a form to invite, recommend, and nominate others, right? Like a webinar or others. And I'll show you an example here in a second, which some of you already know, but you could create an online form for them to make it easy. You could create a physical form. You know, we've got a form that I'll show you and I'll give to you so you can model it. There's a gal named Allison. She's pretty well known. Met her at Genius Network. I actually did a presentation like this for that community. And she got so excited about it because she was hosting a conference, I believe, with like 300 women. And I said, yeah, this is pretty simple to do. Just get up there and teach them the concept of referrals and then invite them to make recommendations, introductions, and nominations. She told me she got over 300 referrals / introductions, filled out full info, first name, last name, email, phone, addresses, 300. She said, I got too many. I couldn't even keep up with them. What a great problem to have, right? By just asking, keeping it simple, making it. And I'm going to actually give, if it's okay with all of you, I want to give you an example of the form to use that you can model for your own business and copy, model mine, right? Which was what she modeled for her business. Really, really simple, right? So here's another example. You can check this out. I won't spend much time on this, but you can just go check it out yourself. If you meet someone who you think, wow, they would be someone who would be like-minded, like-spirited, who's looking to grow their online business, simplify digital marketing, wants to get more clients daily, and maybe you don't know what to say or how to say it, you can go here right now and open it. You can open this up right now, but check it out later. But go to invite.breakthrough3x.com. There's a pre-written text done for you that you can edit any way you like. But all you do is drop your name in, you drop their name and email in, you click send, it'll open up the browser, you enter their email, and then it's already pre-written and pre-done, right? Super simple to make it easier and simple. And again, you can edit it, so make sure you edit it based on your comfort level of what makes sense. But we found in my research of doing this for, talking to so many people about the idea of intro, what holds people back. I'm at dinner, I meet somebody, I don't know what to say about so-and-so. Well, what if you didn't have to figure that out? Instead, now you can use an app like this. Go to invite. It's pre-done. Just send it to them. You can send it by text, send it by email, either way. Easy peasy, right? You could model that. And I want you to model that, right? I invite you to model that. Makes it easy to make the introduction, drop the name in, click the button, away you go. What could you get in place, right? What could you get in place like these things, right? Those 5 simple steps, right? So here are the 4 steps for you to get more referrals, introductions, nominations, and more. Be valuable, make it cool, make it easy, make it real. Really simple. Make it valuable, make it cool, make it easy, make it real, right? So PS, we love you. If you know a right fit, invite them by filling out the form, which I'll show you here in a second, right? I'll pull that up on the screen so you can see it. And again, I'm going to send this to you so you can see it. And oh, by the way, a rumor has it that anytime you put a puppy dog in a presentation, it increases response, endorphins, and a whole lot of things. So you can model that too. Anyway, if you want to go faster, maybe like Kevin, maybe like several of our clients we've been talking about already, then I want to invite you to apply. Why? In our program, we work one-on-one with you as a personal advisor. We give you accountability. We give you a peer success team. We give you weekly sprints that matches out to quarterly and annual goals, daily support, execution, and an implementation team. We give you the proven roadmaps and tools. We give you exposure. We help you level up your mental game. We help you with the financial benchmarking so you're not hit with surprises of what's not working and why. Because we get there way before that. We give you access to our team of tech support. And if you'd like our help with helping you grow your business exponentially, to help you implement and execute the marketing for you, well, I invite you to go to this link. You can do this now before they get all booked up because we all have a certain amount we make available each week. You can go to breakthrough3x.com/apply. We'll walk through a specific custom plan for you. That's what it's about, just like we did for Kevin, just like we've done with every client that we've worked with. We had an initial one-to-one conversation. And I know that breaks a lot of rules. We're going to talk about some of that nonsense in a minute that you've been taught, that you've been misled to not work for you. We're going to have a one-to-one conversation. We're going to review your business. And then we're going to go, here's 3 to 5 key things that you could implement that are going to be needle movers. And if you'd like that, and you'd like to learn how we can help you that way, then go to breakthrough3x.com/apply. What is Breakthrough 3x? We're a fractional CMO marketing team that brings you the tools, the systems, the team to help you execute and implement. Our model is we feed you fish and we teach you to fish, which makes it unlike masterminds, coaching, unlike agencies. It's a hybrid, bringing the best of the best together, giving you access to our team of copywriters, graphic designers, traffic experts, SEO team, email marketing pros, and more. And if we have a fit, and only if we have a fit and there's a match, what ends up happening, what's included when we work together, you get up to 26 one-to-one sessions in a year. You get our bonus day that we do once a year. You get tech onboarding setup. We walk you through Breakthrough 3X University that's customized to you. I believe it was Walter a little bit earlier was sharing the one thing for him that's been most valuable is like the sales scripting that we're making available. Other people, it will be how to go and run certain ad campaigns to drive webinar attendees and a whole lot. We customize it to you because do you really need another course? Tell me, do you? You don't need another course. You don't need another idea. You need that stuff like you need a hole in your, you need useful, relevant things right now to do now and then what next? Would you agree? And if not, you could say that too. We're going to introduce you to the marketing and business KPIs based on thousands of clients we've worked with over years. You get access to our annual content calendar build out. We help you build out your content calendar. So it's in one place for you and your team, whether it's all internal or whether it's fractional or anywhere in between. We also give you access to our growth planner, empathy map. Many of our clients have told us this one thing, we call it beyond the avatar process, that we do with research in advance for you, for your client, is worth the whole year working with us, just alone because they have much more clarity on their messaging. On top of that, we give you swipe files. Now, some of you have gotten our book and some of our resources, some of those things are in there, but again, we customize it. For example, here's an example of a swipe file. We built this for a client, but we have this internally, plus we have dozens and dozens and dozens of clients we built these for. Literally, how great would it be if you could run a webinar or a live cast or a challenge, they're all kind of the same thing, and you were able to generate 228 new clients in 17 days that produced over $350,000 in revenue, and that doesn't include the back-end revenue. Would you like that blueprint? Like, this is what you get with us, right? On top of that, we give you access to bonus trainings. Our experts on our team are some of the best in the world at finance, management, and hiring to help create systems for that with you. You get access as a fractional CMO and CEO. You get access to a project manager that helps drive your, if we're fit. You get our team of copywriters, tech, automations, SEO, content. You get our traffic team that can run traffic for you. Again, we customize it to you. So all that being said, even if you wanted to write a check this second, just based on what we just covered, you couldn't. We got to see if we're a good fit. We got to see if there's alignment. We see if our values, see if there's opportunity. Our highest value client has paid us over about $1 million. We've helped them grow by over 10 million. We expect if we work together, we're going to be free to you, just like we are with our other clients. So if you want to learn more about how to be able to, set this up for your business and have us do what we do best, which is help clients grow exponentially and implement it with our team of experts, then go to breakthrough3x.com/apply. That's breakthrough3x.com/apply. Now, with that being said, one of the first most important points in this journey, especially as you're looking at getting more new leads, more conversions, higher value clients, begin with the end in mind.